2014, City beat Bayern 3-2. Sergio Aguero scored a hat-trick, including a stoppage-time winner in that game. And then City faced Borussia Mönchengladbach. That was in the group stage in 2015. They won 2-1 away, another Aguero stoppage-time winner. They won the home game by 4-2, and Raheem Sterling scored 2 of the goals on that occasion. And then they drew the same team again in 2016. This was Pep Guardiola's first season in charge at Manchester City, and Aguero scored a hat-trick in the home game. 4-0 win. It was pretty easy on that occasion. What about the away game? Well, on this occasion it was David Silva who was on the score sheet. He scored an equaliser in a 1-1 draw away from home. And then another German opponent in the form of Hoffenheim. That was a 2-1 away win this season, Silva with a late winner. And then they won the home game, the reverse fixture, if you like, as well, by 2-1. Leroy Sané scoring twice. So the omens are good as far as Manchester City are concerned against German opposition. They seem to have the number on them. But what about this quadruple? Is it possible? My goodness, it would be such an achievement. Can they do it, Sue?
What an achievement it would be. It's going to be difficult. It's certainly going to be tough to try and get 4 trophies. I think if any squad is capable of doing it, then you would think Manchester City's squad is. The fact that he can rotate players and the players that he's bringing in are of top quality. But it's going to be tough, and at some point maybe you think, will he have to prioritise? But he's gone strong in all of the competitions that I've watched. He's gone with a really strong squad to go out there and win the game.
OK, so it's Schalke. It's not the most challenging of opposition. We look at all of the last 16 teams in the Champions League tonight, and then, of course, the EFL Cup final against Chelsea on Sunday. How do you go about sort of managing the energies and getting the focus right for this week?
They got a good tie, definitely, against Schalke. I think it'll be tough, as in they're going to have to be patient and they're going to have to break them down, because I think they will sit back. I think they will defend and make it difficult for Manchester City. But they've certainly got the players to be able to do that, to be able to break them down. And like I say, they've got the squad to be able to rotate. So I would go strong. I would win the game first, and then I would take the players off. And then obviously then you focus on the final at the weekend, because that's huge. If they can go and that's their first trophy then in their belt, in their drawer, they can then go on and look at the other 3 that they, you know, he said he's competing on all 4 fronts, and that's exactly what he's done throughout the season.
With all due respect to the EFL Cup, because it is an important competition, and indeed the FA Cup, but I think across the world of football, the League and the Champions League are the top 2 priorities. But which order are they for Pep Guardiola? Because they haven't got past the semi-final for Manchester City in this competition before now.
No, they haven't. And Pep Guardiola was clearly brought in to win the Champions League. That's been their focus. They want that global, they want that international recognition. So he was brought in to do that. But if he could win back-to-back league titles, which we know is such a tough ask, but if he can do that, and he can win the Champions League, what a fantastic season that would be for Manchester City. It's going to be difficult for them, but like I say, they're certainly capable of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since anyone's defended the Premier League, and we now they've got a real challenger in Liverpool to actually challenge them for that title this time around. In terms of the Champions League, well, of course, we know that Pep Guardiola has enjoyed success in this particular competition in the past, winning it with Barcelona in 2009 and 2011, beating Manchester United on both occasions at Rome and at Wembley. Champions League win this season would move Guardiola level with the most successful bosses in this competition. Zinedine Zidane famously won 3 in a row with Real Madrid. Carlo Ancelotti won 2 with AC Milan, also another one with Madrid. Bob Paisley won 3 European Cups, as was the name of the competition back then, with Liverpool. But Guardiola hasn't even reached a final since his last success in 2011, and that incredible performance against United, 3-1 winners at Wembley. Semi-final exit with Barcelona to Chelsea in 2012, 3 successive semi-final exits with Bayern Munich, all of those against 3 different Spanish clubs, in fact, Real Madrid, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. And then, first season with Manchester City, lost to Monaco. That was a bit of a surprise before Liverpool beat them in the quarter-finals last year. As you mentioned, Sue, he was brought in to win the Champions League, and it's been 2 disappointing exits for City. That quarter-final against Liverpool was blood and thunder all the way, wasn't it? But why has he found it sort of difficult to make his historical form in this competition translate for City? Well,
that hurt them. I think getting beat to Liverpool, that was a game that it could have gone either way. It was a fantastic game, like you mentioned. And they have found it difficult, and some have said, has he been found out over the 2 legs? I don't think so. I think he's got the experience. He's been there. He's done it with Barcelona, so he knows how to win these big competitions. I think it's now a case of getting that into the players, so the players believing that they can go and do that, instilling that into them, because sometimes it is psychologically. So physically, you're there. You've got your tactics absolutely spot on, but psychologically, do you then go and believe that you can do those things? And they've got the experience from last season. I don't think they'll fall short again.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because in terms of his career, after taking that break from Barcelona, he took over at Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich had just won the domestic and European treble under Jupp Heynckes. And then, of course, he can't achieve that because he hasn't won the Champions League. What do you put that down to? This man is perhaps one of the most talented coaches in the world, if not of all time, and he can't actually measure up to his predecessor in that respect. It's bizarre. And
again, that's something that will really hurt him because, you know, he's a winner. You can see that in every single game that he goes out in. He's competing on all four fronts. You know, not many other managers have said that. Other managers have said we're focusing on the league or we're focusing on the FA Cup or whatever. He wants to win everything that he takes part in. So the fact that he hasn't done that, I think that's a huge goal for him. And I think it's certainly something that they're looking at this season as their main focus, because they do want that, because it's massive, isn't it, to win the Champions League, to be up there with those teams, and it would really just put Manchester City right up there with that international global recognition that is exactly what they want.
Yeah, it would be historic as well for them, of course. Let's talk about some of their players that are jostling for position ahead of this game tonight against Schalke. Bernardo Silva is one of them. He's been praised by Pep Guardiola. Let's just hear what the manager had to say when asked if Bernardo Silva could become one of the biggest stars for his country, Portugal.
He has absolutely everything. First, he's a lovely person. I love to work with him, especially because he's never make a bad face when don't play. When he plays 5-10 minutes, 50-20 like last season, always the biggest smile. I think he's the guy in the locker room that's the most beloved of our team, and he has the skills for himself. So he has absolutely everything. He's one of the talented players I ever seen in my career, like a manager, a football player. He's a humble guy. He can play in 3 or 4 positions. I think maybe this season one of the 3 or 2 or 3 best players in the Premier League, because playing all the minutes and the amount of the produce in the play, with the ball, in assists, in goals, in how he celebrates. You have to take a look how he celebrates the goals when he scored against his teammates. It's a joy.
He's a joy, and this man has also been a joy for Manchester City, really given Guardiola a selection dilemma. No players provided more assists than Riyad Mahrez in the group stage this season. His 4 only matched by Kylian Mbappe and Memphis Depay as well. Right, let's just compare then. Guardiola's wingers, how do they stack up in all competitions? Well, Raheem Sterling has actually started the most games, 29 for him. Bernardo Silva on 28, we just heard from Pep about him. Leroy Sané and Riyad Mahrez a little fewer. Let's just then focus on the goals as far as they're concerned. Well, you can see that at the moment, it's Raheem Sterling, he's been playing a little bit further forward, hasn't he? And so therefore probably going to get in those positions where he can get goal-scoring opportunities a little bit more. Riyad Mahrez on 10, Leroy Sané on 12, Bernardo Silva lagging behind a little bit on 8. What about assists, though? It's an interesting, this one, isn't it? So Sané is the most assists with 13, then Sterling, so he's been involved in the most goals overall, and also then Mahrez and Bernardo Silva. OK, let's talk to about this a little bit more, because, I mean, strength and depth, generally seen as a blessing, but might it be a little bit of a hindrance as well as a help? It's causing some headaches here for Pep Guardiola.
It is, but I think it's a good headache to have. I think it's a luxury that you've got 4 players there that are in form, that can make things happen. And I think when Mahrez came in, you wondered how would the others react? So how would Sterling react? How would Sané react? They've reacted in the best possible way, in the fact that they're performing at the highest level, and Mahrez can't get in, you know, so of course he goes in when it's, you know, he's rotating his side or he's looking at maybe something different, but they're probably his first go-to players, if you like, and that's because they're performing at such a high level. Then if you need something different, you've then got other options to bring on, and that's what they've got. They've got wingers with different abilities. So you've got the pace, you've got the power, you've got the quality, you've got the vision, the awareness. So whatever you need to do in a game, if you need to change something, you've got a player to bring on that can actually do that.